Welcome to the first ever Acornhead Gaming Retro Review episode. We look back at some of the most prolific games in history of gaming industry. In this episode, we'll take a look at one of the most iconic games of all time. I'm talking about Hideo Kojima's Metal Gear Solid. With the release of his latest title, Death Stranding, I thought it was time to go back and play his earlier masterpiece. Here I will share my experiences with MGS during my first playthrough in 2019. Metal Gear Solid stands firmly against the erosion of time because it oozes personality and weirdness in ways that are still left unmatched today. However, there are still some aspects in which the game feels ancient. For example, top-down camera angles and dated graphics, but with the standout gameplay, unique boss encounters, and charming writing, you'll quickly forget about its age. Playing MGS on the PS1 in 2019 is still an experience I recommend to any gamer who hasn't already given it a shot.
You're pretty good. Just what I'd expect from the man with the same code as the boss. It's been a long time since I had such a good fight, but I'm just getting warmed up.
Metal Gear Solid is a tactical espionage action game, according to the box. At times it plays like that, a stealth game where you often try sneaking past hostiles or silently killing them. A snap of the neck is my preferred tool. The other half of espionage action is, well, just action. This game is full of it. The boss fights in particular are all extremely unique mechanically. No two fights are the same, and all you need to discover is the optimal strategy for taking out these members of the Foxhound, the terrorist group. Some of these boss fights have gimmicks that I will remember forever, while others more classic but epic in proportion nonetheless. The story starts off with somewhat innocent for a video game. A sole operative, Solid Snake is tasked with shutting down Foxhound's operation at the decommissioned nuclear waste disposal facility. However, the story, music, and environment are filled with undertones of something more sinister at play. You soon learn it is not as simple as your colonel has led you to believe. You slowly unpack and detangle the storyline as you progress and encounter more members of the Foxhound. I won't give too much away, but I'm certain that this story is filled with twists and cinematic moments.
I'll stop it from moving! Fox!
In the Middle East, we don't hunt foxes, we hunt jackals. Instead of foxhounds, we use royal harriers.
Fox!
How strong is that exoskeleton of yours? Snake, are you just going to sit by and watch him die?
Adding to these moments was perfectly crafted and timed cinematic audio score. The music is one area of Metal Gear Solid that has not aged a bit. Alongside the distinct boss fights are equally impressive audio track, almost perfectly complementing the personality of the fight itself. From epic badass boss fights to subtle and uneasy exploration of the nuclear facility, the audio can dictate much of the vibe in the experience. The story is told through standout humorous and witty writing. At times, this can be a little direct and too video game-like. Solid Snake, the main character, is constantly being hit on by every girl he speaks to, but there is a charming nature to these interactions. They are attempting to build up Solid Snake to being the legend coming out of retirement. the legend living up to his legacy. During cutscenes and conversations, I often found myself chuckling and laughing away. Characters wetting themselves, cheesy one-liners, and awkward villain encounters. Fundamentally, video game writing from the past was never trying to completely emulate movies, unlike modern games do nowadays. This older style of writing was a beautiful warm tone and enhances the experience. That being said, do not count out the story at all. Kojima sure knows how to write a story.
Snake, this is McDonald Miller. It's been a long time.
Master, what are you doing here?
I quit being a drill instructor, so I moved out here for some peace and quiet. I'm in retirement, just like you. Once in a while, I still help train the Alaskan Scouts.
Passing on the skills to a new generation, huh?
Campbell told me about the situation here. I thought I might be of some use.
There's no one I'd rather have in a foxhole than you.
Well, I know lots about survival in a harsh environment. I've lived in Alaska longer than you, so call me if you have any questions about the flora or fauna out here. My frequency is 141.80.
Like previously mentioned, I think it is important to address the standout issues of going back and playing almost any older video game, and that is the graphics and the top-down camera view. Most retro games will stick out like a sore thumb if you predominantly play modern titles. But to my surprise, this was a rather small hurdle to overcome. I quickly grew fond of the art style the game designers and artists were able to achieve with quite a lot of hardware restrictions in the 90s. Characters are clearly defined and distinguished from each other, environments provide a true feeling of immersion in the world, and weapons aiming HUD sufficed. Other unappreciated aspects of the distant camera height was giving more significance of the up-close camera angles of cutscenes, allowing for a much greater impact.
Set me free.
Why? Why? I loved you.
What is it?
My gun. Give it to me. She's part of me. Everyone's here now. Oh, okay, hero. Set me free.
Goodbye.
In summary, Metal Gear Solid has minor issues, but ones like any other game from the PS1 era. Luckily, these issues are easily overcome, and once you adjust, they are not even noticeable. The upside game it possesses is enormous, from writing that is hilarious and charming to a plot which is unforgettable. Boss fights unlike any I've experienced, satisfying secrets, and amazing audio score that fits perfectly. On top of all that are distinct game mechanics which take advantage of wide weapons library with special use cases. This game does things and expects things from you like no other game I've played prior. The game continuously rewards you for exploration and questioning of the world. This game is an absolute play for almost any gamer.